Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, just as I promised in the previous episodes, I am bringing you the continuation of the heartfelt love story of Tieu San and CEO David Hai. After a long journey of loving each other, facing storms, misunderstandings, challenges, and countless unspoken sorrows. Finally, the moment they had always dreamed of has become reality. Their long-awaited dream wedding has officially begun. In today's video, I will take you directly to the place where it all starts, where happiness, tears, love, and vows intertwine to create one of the most unforgettable days of their lives. So make sure you watch until the end to truly feel every emotional moment of this special ceremony. The church glowed under the soft light of the morning sun, as if the entire sky wanted to witness their union. Sunlight streamed through the stained glass windows, scattering colorful reflections across the ancient stone walls. The church bells rang one after another, echoing through the fresh morning air, like a timeless blessing given to every couple about to step into a new chapter of life, warm, sacred, and full of hope. The door of the wedding car opened gently. Tieu San stepped out slowly, the hem of her gown brushing the ground like a trail of soft light. Her pure white dress, elegant and not overly extravagant, highlighted her gentle beauty in a breathtaking way. Her hair was styled in a delicate low bun, revealing her graceful features, the beauty of a woman who had endured pain, known loss, and now had found enough love to smile again, wholeheartedly. Beside her, little Ivy stepped down in her tiny princess gown, her small hand tightly holding her mother's. Her pale pink dress, tiny sparkling shoes, and little tiara made her look like a heavenly angel accompanying her mother into the aisle. Ivy looked up at Tieu San with wide, admiring eyes that shone brightly in the morning light. "Mom, you look like a fairy today." Her voice was soft and sweet, barely above a whisper, but it tugged at every corner of San's heart. Tieu San paused for a moment, her eyes curving with emotion. The smile that bloomed on her lips carried not only the joy of her wedding day, but also the quiet, profound gratitude for the little girl who once helped her stand tall during her darkest days, now calling her beautiful with such innocence and purity. San gently squeezed Ivy's hand, a silent response filled with love, thankfulness, and appreciation for the child's presence in her life. Not far ahead, at the end of the flower-lined aisle, CEO Hai stood waiting. His tailored black suit highlighted his calm, confident presence. But the most striking detail was not his appearance, it was his eyes. Eyes that were completely, deeply fixed on the two most important girls in his life. The moment Tieu San appeared, Hai's gaze never left her. In those eyes were emotions he could not verbalize, gratitude that she had walked into his life, admiration for the love they had fought to protect, and a sense of wonder, as if realizing the woman in front of him was so beautiful it made his heart tighten. Then his gaze moved to Ivy. The little girl smiled brightly, waving her small hand at him. Hai let out a soft smile, a gentle, tender smile he only ever wore when looking at the child he loved as his own. In that moment, Hai's entire world narrowed down to the two figures slowly walking toward him. The woman he was about to vow his life to. And the little girl who had become his family without him even realizing when it happened. No words were spoken, yet everything they felt was already shining clearly in their eyes. The grand doors of the church slowly opened, the hinges letting out a gentle sound in the quiet yet solemn space. A soft stream of white light flowed out from inside, wrapping around the silhouettes of Tieu San and little Ivy as the two stepped in. In that exact moment, every gaze in the church turned toward them. Every face, every pair of eyes paused as though trying to imprint the most beautiful image of the ceremony deep into their hearts. But only Hai stood completely still. The moment he saw Tieu San appear at the entrance, his breath caught in his chest. A wave of emotion surged through him, something too powerful to put into words. Perhaps it was the tenderness accumulated through months of waiting. The gratitude for the woman who had walked beside him through his darkest days. The awe for the one who refused to let go even when storms tried to tear them apart. Tieu walked slowly along the red carpet, each step light yet steady. With every step, the hem of her gown shimmered under the warm golden light, creating ripples that looked like soft waves. Ivy scattered tiny flower petals from her bouquet, the delicate petals floating and spinning before falling like a thin pink shower. She giggled, her little feet happily skipping beside her mother's gown, looking like a small angel escorting the bride down the aisle. As they approached, Hai bent down with a natural, familiar tenderness. He reached out and lifted Ivy into his arm, as if it were something he did every day, as natural as breathing. With his other hand, he extended it toward Tieu. The moment their palms touched, soft, warm, trembling, the entire church erupted in prolonged applause mixed with quiet, emotional sighs. The image of the three standing together at the end of the aisle, the calm man, the gentle woman, and the little girl holding onto him, looked like the perfect piece of happiness that life had once taken from them, but was now finally returning. Before the altar, the priest stood bathed in the light shining through the stained glass windows. His voice resonated deeply. "Do you promise to love and protect this woman, and her daughter, for all the days of your life?" Hai did not answer immediately. He first looked at Tieu, the woman gazing at him with eyes glistening in trust. Then he looked down at Ivy, the little girl clinging to him with wide, expectant eyes. And then, in a steady, unwavering voice, without hesitation, Hai answered, "I do. I will protect both of them, for the rest of my life." Those words fell into the air like a vow written long before, finally spoken aloud at the destined moment. Tieu could no longer hold back. Tears streamed down her perfectly made-up cheeks, yet instead of ruining her beauty, they made her look even more real, more radiant, more deeply happy. Ivy wrapped her tiny arms around Hai's neck, burying her face against him as she whispered softly, as if afraid someone else might steal her words. "I do too. I want to be your daughter, Daddy Hai." A wave of emotion rippled through the church. Some wiped their tears. Some smiled. Some squeezed the hand of the person beside them. Some simply let out the softest sigh. Everyone was touched by the moment. When the priest solemnly said, "You may now seal your vows with a kiss." Hai did not kiss her lips like most couples. He leaned in and placed a gentle kiss on her forehead, a kiss of protection, of respect, and a silent promise that for every storm ahead, he would be the one standing in front. Then he leaned down again and kissed Ivy's forehead. The air around them softened as he whispered, "I love both of you." Simple, quiet, but powerful enough to make Tieu's heart tremble all over again. The three stood beneath the soft glow pouring through the tall stained glass windows, like a perfect painting of peace, of just right happiness, of a small family who finally found one another in this vast world. The light embraced them, as if sealing this moment into eternity. After the ceremony, while the sound of applause still echoed faintly in the vast space of the church, people gradually stepped out into the courtyard, where warmth and laughter filled the air. Bouquets of wedding flowers lay scattered along the stone steps, and the gentle afternoon sunlight made each petal glow like it was lit from within. Just as Tieu reached out to fix Ivy's hair, Hai's mother walked over. She could no longer contain her emotions. She pulled Ivy into her arms, holding the little girl tightly yet tenderly, as if she had been waiting for this very moment for years. Her face was still streaked with tears, but her smile was so radiant that it made everyone nearby smile as well. Wiping the tears from Ivy's cheeks, she laughed softly, her voice shaky but overflowing with affection. "From today on, you are truly my granddaughter. My own flesh and blood. You two just go enjoy your honeymoon properly." Leave Ivy to me. I can take care of her, all of it." Simple words, yet overflowing with a grandmother's pure love. No politeness, no distance, only sincerity shining in every syllable. Ivy looked up, her bright little eyes reflecting the grandmother holding her. She giggled sweetly and wrapped her arms around the woman's neck. "Grandma, I'll stay with you." The innocent, warm voice felt like a small, precious seal between two hearts that had already chosen each other long before. Hai stood nearby, watching his mother and Ivy embrace, and a wave of relief washed over him like a cool breeze. All this time, he had worried that his past, his family's wounds, or life's pressures might keep Tieu San and Ivy from ever experiencing real love. But now, seeing his mother hold Ivy with the same tenderness she once gave him, he knew everything had finally fallen into place. His eyes softened, the weight he had carried for so long quietly lifting. He didn't say a word, he didn't need to. He just stood there, letting the moment sink into his heart. Beside him, Tieu San clasped her hands together, trembling slightly. She said nothing, but her eyes shimmered, ready to spill tears. Not tears of sadness, but tears of something incredibly rare, the feeling of being cherished. Since childhood, Tieu San had never been truly treated with unconditional kindness. No one had ever held her and cried out of happiness for her. No one had ever said they would take care of her child. No one had ever offered her the shelter of a family, something she never believed she would be blessed enough to receive. Seeing Hai's mother hold Ivy close, watching her gentle pats on the little girl's back, seeing the joyful tears on the woman's smiling face, all of it made Tieu San's heart tighten and soften at the same time. She lowered her head, taking a deep breath, trying to keep her tears from falling too quickly. Hai rested his hand gently on her back, a quiet message. "You are not alone anymore." Tieu San looked up at him. Her eyes were red, but her smile was beautiful, full of gratitude, emotion, and disbelief that this happiness could truly belong to her. That moment, the grandmother embracing her new granddaughter, the husband standing beside them with gentle eyes, and the bride trembling with emotion, blended into a scene no one would ever want to forget. A moment marking the true beginning of a real family. That night, the honeymoon suite glowed with the soft golden light of candles. The flames flickered gently with the light breeze, reflecting off the rose petals scattered across the floor, giving the entire room a warm, romantic glow. The silence was so deep that even the faintest breath seemed to echo in this room so full of meaning. Tieu San stood at the doorway, fingers intertwined, unable to step in too quickly. Her heart pounded so loudly it felt as though the sound filled the entire room. Her cheeks had long turned pink, and her ears were burning red, revealing every bit of her shyness. The day had been too perfect, too full of happiness, so much so that she didn't know how to face this private moment. "Hi. I'm so nervous." She lowered her head, her voice soft as a drifting breeze. Hai walked toward her, his gaze gentle enough to dissolve every worry in her chest. He carefully lifted a thin shawl and placed it over her trembling shoulders. Every movement was slow, tender, as if he feared startling her. "It's all right," he said, his voice deep, steady, and full of quiet protection. "I'm here, and from now on, I won't let you or our child suffer anything ever again." Those words made Tieu San lift her head. In her eyes flickered a depth of emotion almost impossible to hide. Not because of the promise itself, but because of the way he said it, as if it were the most natural duty of his life, as if she and Ivy had already become irreplaceable parts of his heart long ago. Hai stepped closer. He gently wrapped his arms around her slender waist. It was not a hurried embrace, not the burning passion many imagine for a wedding night. It was warm, patient, and full of reverence, just like the way he had loved her through all the years, through every hardship, every tear, every fragile hope they held on to together. He leaned down and placed a soft kiss on her shoulder. A kiss that demanded nothing. A kiss that promised peace. A kiss that whispered, "You are my safe place. And I am yours." Tieu San exhaled softly, almost melting into his arms. She rested her head against his chest, feeling the steady heartbeat of the man she had chosen to marry. It was calm, warm, reassuring, a heartbeat that made her believe that even though life had once hurt her deeply, it had finally given her someone who knew how to love and protect her the right way. That night, surrounded by candlelight and the scent of roses, they did more than become husband and wife. They became a family, a real, complete, deeply connected family. Later, as they lay beside each other, peace settled into every moment. Tieu San shifted slightly and whispered with the soft worry of a mother. "I wonder if Ivy is sleeping with your mom tonight." Hai smiled, gently brushing her hair aside. "Don't worry. My mom is taking care of her. She loves Ivy even more than I expected." His words were like a calming balm, easing every last bit of tension inside her. She closed her eyes, a quiet smile forming on her lips, the smile of someone who had finally found a place to belong. But they had no idea. Just a few days into their sweet honeymoon, a new secret, big enough to change everything, would surface. And the story is far from over. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Hello mọi người, lại là mình đây, mình tên là Quỳnh nha mọi người. Hiện tại thì mình đang viết video. Bây giờ buổi trưa mà mình gà ở đây đang gáy này mọi người. Cảm ơn mọi người, hẹn gặp lại mọi người trong video sau, bye bye.